Yeah. So this is what we have. You can confirm if you're able to see my screen. I thought it was lagging. Oh, okay. Let's see, Hillary, and also to hear me perfectly well. So there's a. I'll share with you. But no, but that one is talking about Power BI. So this is the data that we had. So there's no reason. There was no reason for you to do any cleaning because I mentioned that the data is already clean, and so you are just to do a dive into it and see what you could analyze. Of course, I can even change this name from sheet one to sample sheet so that it just looks something better. Yeah. So the first thing, of course, when given data is to understand what is the data talking about. Of course, this one I mentioned to you that it's a sales data. And so you go column by column, just trying to see what is team telling me. So of course, team is telling you the various regions that we have in this data. There's this one about management that I don't want to appear here. I don't want it to appear here. So I'll filter it out. I want to delete them. They were test data that was used. So delete content, not clear. Delete row. So I've deleted that. I want this. I thought I deleted it when I sent it to you yesterday, but it wasn't. Yeah. So that is so the first thing, of course, it's you to understand what do we have here. So we have various regions like Coast, Eastern, Mountain, Nairobi, North, Nyanza, and Western. And then we have display names. So these ones are I also mentioned in the group that these ones are sales representatives. Then visit date. So when did they visit this outlet? And also uh, another thing is location. So location is the location of the outlet that they are visiting. So what is the name of that outlet? There's an outlet here called Mama Watoto. So you could find there are so many outlets here, including Zurimat Supermarket, Zuberi, Zubeya, Zion. There are so many. And then there are these SKUs. So SKU in sales, of course, it's just shopkeeping units. Is it shopkeeping or storekeeping? But it's shopkeeping units. So what are the units that we are keeping? So there are salted potato crisps. Let me remove a connection here on WhatsApp because it's going to make noise. Yeah, that sound before it. So I don't know. It's linked devices. So log out. Yeah. So if you look at these ones, so there are very many shopkeeping units, tomato crisps and everything. So again, price is just the price of this product. So salted potato crisps, you'll find it's 109, right? So there are various costs or maybe prices associated with these different SKUs. Order quantity is how much somebody orders. So if it's zero, then it means that Mama Watoto did not order, right? But if there's 84, then Mama Watoto ordered 84 popcorn, salted 50 mg. Subtotal is what? Is 37.5 times 84, which gives us 3150. So the total amount, right, that the person bought. So 84 times this. So if you have cheese, potato crisps, and 108, so let us just do this and go to view. Okay, having some problems, but yeah. Uh, I wanted to freeze the window pane. So my Excel is having so many things here, but I hope it's able to proceed. Okay, so keep the top row. So if you check, Maybe Mama Toto also bought salted Chris 30 mg. No, 50 mg. So 144 quantity. So 144 times 54.38 is what is giving a subtotal. So month index, if you see 3, then that means it's March, 1 is February, 1 is January, sorry, 2 is February. And week is a week of the year. So you know very well that right now we are in week 38, I think so. Week 38, if not week 39. Yeah, week 38 or 39. So year is 2023, but we also have some data spilling to 2024. Contact is that anonymous person called, I saw contact somewhere. Yeah, contact is, I believe, somebody you can contact from the outlet. Date to visit, and then package type. We only have units, merchandiser comment. So when the sales rep is inputting the information, they could also add some comment there. Date that the question was answered, SKU code, code SKU, category level, and then you could see category level is foods. And then this salted potato crisp falls in the category of snacks. So you could see also we have it as snacks. Then there is a deep dive in terms of categories where you have, so this snacks is broken down into category level 6. So we have cheddar, corn chips, and those popcorn star alphabets, right? And then you have the longitude and latitude that the outlet is found. And then finally, maybe channel. So you have general trade, modern trade, no channel. Then we have outlet type. So is the outlet a grocery? Is it an institution? Is it a kiosk? Is it a petromat? So petromat is that when you go to petrol station, you'll find a Kaduka within that petrol station, right? Yeah, a Duka in petrol stations is what we call petromat. So you could say it's a supermarket in a petrol station or something. But again, we have also supermarkets, which now you can say, okay, so that is just um, skimming through your data so that you understand what it is. So probably one of the important columns you'll use is category level 6. You'll find outlet type to be useful. If we are to put in maps, longitude and latitude, right? Then another one that you will find useful is SKU. We had a column called here SKU. Yeah, this one. You'll also find geolocation to be important if you want to do a breakdown, a deep dive of your data. Of course, outlet also is important because you want to know which outlet bought what. And then visit date, when that outlet was visited, because you may want to create a slicer. If not a slicer, is a timeline, right? You'll also find region to be useful because you want to understand how sales is how sales is the sales trend in different regions, right? You could also find this a display name because this is the sales representative. You'll also find it to be important, right? So the next thing that you need to do is definitely now to create a pivot table. So to help you to ease in the process of data analysis, right? So you come here and insert. Where is my Excel jumpy today? Yeah, insert and then pivot table, and so we could insert it in a new worksheet and say, okay. So here we have a pivot table. We could rename it as pivot table. So once we are here, we could just a minute. Okay. Yeah. So once we are here, Of course, you can just rename it. I always don't like situations where like you have things named here sheet 1, sheet 2, sheet 3, sheet 4. I mean, it doesn't really make it interesting. So once we are here, we can think of what do you want to analyze. So we can create a pivot table for, maybe you want to analyze a team and sales. So how do the regions perform in terms of the sales? So you can come here and put subtotal, because you know there's this subtotal that I mentioned. So it tells us, so this subtotal, it tells us what an outlet bought. Yeah, yeah, the total, the cumulative total of the sales or maybe the purchases from the various outlets. So these outlets are found in various regions. So that's why we could say cost region and say subtotal. I'm trying to look for subtotal. So subtotal is here. So you can click subtotal. So if you click subtotal, you can see here sum of subtotals. Yeah. You could drag this pivot fields anywhere you want, but let's keep it here. So first, you could see uh, so let me try and see if we know. Yeah. So you can put this there. So you can see that the highest performing region is which one? North North Rift, right? North Rift region is the one that is performing high. So it has the highest sales. So followed by, we have North Rift and then followed by Coast. After Coast, we go to Nyanza and Western region. From this, um, we go to what? After this, we go to Nairobi. After Nairobi, we go to South Rift. After South Rift, Mountain, and finally Eastern region. Kambani is not doing very well in terms of these sales. Yeah. So another thing, so that could have just been one of the things that instead of even calling it a summary table, we could a pivot table, we could call it summary. Yeah. Okay. Or call it just pivot tables. Pivot tables, so that if we are to build now a dashboard, we'll create it somewhere here. Yeah. So that is one thing. We could also go back and instead of going back and say insert another pivot table, what we can do is we can just copy this one, control copy, and paste it here. Control V. So once we pasted it there, so once we have it pasted here, we can come here and click and change different things. So we don't want to see region anymore. We want to see display name, right? So display name we know is sales representatives. Yeah. So this one is telling you performance of the various sales representatives that we have. So Ali Mwanza is sold 652,375. But you could just select this so that you format it into, you introduce the commas, I mean, for readability. So you could see, so this one is at 0. So if you see that minus is 0. So does it mean, okay, so there's this person called Wanjiru Mungai. Yeah, Wanjiru is doing sales in North Rift region. So has a sale of 12,078, right? 12 million, sorry, 78,272. So performing high, the highest. But you could also go here and let's see, sort largest to smallest. So Wanjiru is leading and then the least person minus these zeros is Regan Raphael Mugenya, who is at 12,010. But if you see it this way, you may not know where Regan is coming from if you just include display name peke yake. So we could also just add team. But once we add team, you can see the arrangement is not okay. So we drag team up so that team becomes the first level. So team followed by display, right? So when you look at coast region, we have Petronella Mukami Njogu. And then in Eastern, we have Janet Kailu Mutindi, who has sold 544,000. And then we have Mountain region is Purity Nkatha Kathiari and also Geoffrey Kimathi Njeru, having 161. And then Nairobi region, of course, there have been various sales representatives. So within this one, sometimes somebody does sales today, kesho you don't meet the targets, and then you're told to exit a little bit so that we have somebody else coming in. If you go to North Rift region, we have Wanjiro Mungai. And then in Nyanza, we've had Waivon, Ali Mwanza, and Diana Kasudi Adaka. And South Rift, of course, is this one. So it arranges it in terms of the one with the highest sales. So you could resize this one. So you can see there's a minus here. So if you want to hide the information, you could just do this, so that if you want to, yeah, so this way. So this is more of, in Power BI we call it drill down. So you can see this. If you see this, then it means like there's more information hidden there. So that is another pivot table. If you want to do something else, we just come here and control copy and paste it here, control V. So once we are here, so we can edit this one. We don't want to see maybe these regions. We just want to see performance by product category. So product category was, this subcategory was level 6. So if we add here level 6, so you can see that sort largest to smallest. You can see that crisps is being sold sana, 18,446. And then we have the least one, 339.79. Yeah. So that is some of the pivot tables that you could create. Something else that we can create is, so again, so that we don't overlap to that other side sana, you could arrange them in, ukuja hapa chini, you put another one here. So I'm looking at this row and I'm seeing, yeah, we can just put it there, control V. So what else do we want to see? We may want to see the same way we had the regions, and then we had regions and then sales reps hidden there. We could also have here under this category level 6, we could have SKU. So we know under crisps, which SKUs do we have? So we could do here SKU, and then you can see under crisps, we have the cheese, onion, we have crisps, we have salted 100 foil, salted potato crisp 30 grams clear. We have quite a number. So if you go to popcorns, the same. There are information under popcorns, and then we can say crisp was the highest, but we want to see under crisp what is the highest value. So we could sort. Z to A, more sort options, sort A to Z, not really A to Z. Okay. So sort sum of subtotal and say okay. Yeah. So if you look at this, so I've sorted it in descending order so that you see salted potato crisp is the least. And then if you come here, the highest is salted potato crisp 50 grams with 1.7 million. But this one is salted potato 30 grams clear, 103. Similarly, you could look at the performance here, but sometimes it's interesting to start it to sort it. So you go to more sort options, and then instead of ascending, you come to descending, and then we pick sum of subtotal. So sort SKU by sum of subtotal in descending order, right? So you see here the highest is salted potato, with the least being salted potato crisp at 30 grams. Here the highest is popcorn salted. Here highest is masala peanut, and here the highest is corn chips with farfar leading this place star alphabets hivyo na hivyo. So that is just pivot tables, which again you could also hide. All right. Which one do you want to hide? The next and this one, and finally we finish up with this. So we have this information here. Before I proceed, any question or anybody who is not with us? I've been a little bit quick on that. Are we together? Thumbs up. Steve Andrew is doing a thumbs down. Hillary is together. Lucy, Rose, Joel. Some people have not heard Eric, Sizzler, Emily, Dickens. Steve, you could unmute and ask the question.
Yeah, okay. For me, I got stuck after copy and pasting this row label and sum total. I think I lost you when you were inserting that drill down. And then my screen, when I'm using this workspace, I'm not able to have those other options of the pivot table. So I don't know how, because I try minimizing it and I'm not seeing them.
So the way you are stuck, which cat do we bring to lift you out of the mud? It seems you're very stuck, right? Tulete tingatinga gani?
Afford.
Yeah, it seems you are very stuck. Okay, so looking for something I'm not finding. So I let you these options, these ones.
Hizo options zilikuwa wakati tulikuwa tunatengeneza hiyo ya kwanza, but when we started copying and pasting and now doing these
So
other
if you copy this, control copy and paste it here, haikuji.
Let me just do that now.
Yeah. Sorry, you want to present? Okay. Yeah, you can
I
present.
want to copy just the way you copied.
Oh. Yeah, copied it.
But unless I try and share my screen, huh?
Yeah, you can try. You can try and share.
Okay.
See what is the problem. Oh, okay. Yeah, Steve, Sizzler is saying that you could be pasting in values. How did you paste, by the way? Were you doing a control V or paste special? Steve,
They control some.
copy, and then were you coming here and saying this?
Yes.
No, you are doing this.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, I mean that is not the correct one. So you just so once you control copy, just do control V, right? Don't go to don't right click and paste values. I know we did
Okay.
it in. Is it working now?
I'm telling you in a bit. Just continue.
No, we don't want to leave you, but anyway, okay. If you're confident you'll catch us, that is okay. Yeah. So you just do a control V instead of right clicking and pasting the content, controlling the values. Pasting the values. Sorry. The next thing that we could be asking ourselves is probably we want to see because you are trying to think through the mind of maybe your boss, right? So, what is the boss interested in? Like, what are some of the things that this person is going to ask me? So, probably wants to see what is our performance by product categories. Apart from that, what is our performance by just the what? The SKUs, various SKUs, right? Something else that the boss could be interested in terms of geolocation, how are we performing? Yeah, what is our sales in terms of geolocation? Uh, let's see this one, geolocation. Yeah, we could add this, but go and remove. Let's remove this category level 6. Yeah, so sum of sales by geolocation. So you could also select this and because we have so many geolocations. So this one is a very, it's very nirefo. But again, instead of doing that, let's see if you can sort it by here. No, 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 no. Yeah, this one is just only for, okay, yeah, you could sort it here. Yeah, so you could just come direct here and click this button and then say sort. So you want to sort it, no, this one. You want to sort it, will it really make sense for this one? Or we just have to highlight? Because if we sort it in terms of, okay, yeah, we could click it just from this. So let's sort more sort options, but say we want to sort, is it descending or ascending? Descending. So sort descending, but click this button and say sum of subtotal and click on that. So you could see that there are various places that we haven't sold to. So that one is something that you can notice. So if you click up, you could see that Voi is giving us the highest sales, followed closely by Chuele. Then we go to the newest city, Eldoret, and then we go to Kericho, Kismayu Road. So these are things that, so once you've seen this, you could now advise your boss that, okay, we've seen that voice, the one that is really performing, but then we have another one here that is performing poorly. We've only sold 34, that is Bellevue and Bypass. We've only sold 34 shillings. Even Allsops upper two, we've sold 1,215. Then you could engage the sales rep that is working here, that is working in Voi, just to understand like what are the strategies that the lady is using for her to the lady or the person the guy is using for them to the customers to their side, so that we have these high sales, right? That is something you could do. Apart from that, let's paste this one here. But now we don't want to deal with the sum of subtotals. We want to understand, for example, how many outlets do we have in a certain region, right? So, wait, why is my Nini not giving me the option? But there could be. Okay, let me copy a different one and see if it's working. Okay, yeah. But sometimes, if you're not able to see this, so suppose it's this way. So once you click here, you go to analyze. You click here for analyze. See, if I click inside this, whatever I've copied here, you can see, if I were in home, you can see that pivot tables, analyze and design has been highlighted. So you click on analyze and come here to field list and add field list, so that you're able to see it. Yeah, was mentioning that now we may want to know the count of outlets. How many outlets do we have? Yeah. How many outlets do we have? So I just want to change this subtotal, and I also want to remove what? I want to even remove this category. But then, so pivot table number 20, I want to see team, and then I want to see outlet. But if I click here outlet, where is outlet? If I click here outlet, of course it will bring me to this, but I don't want outlet in rows, I want outlet in values. Yeah, so it automatically counts. So count of outlet. So you could tend to think that cost is performing very well because we have so many outlets. Yeah, but I can even see North Rift region is having 13,498. Yeah, so we have 13,498 outlets in let's sort first the descending. We sort by count of outlet and say okay. So you can see that the highest one, North region, we have 13,498 outlets. Coast 13,163. Nairobi we have 11,420, and also we have in Nyanza 72,86. The least one is Eastern region, and so you could understand that maybe Eastern region is not performing well because we have few outlets, right? So the same thing we could do. What else do you think we can do here? Let's look at our sample sheet again and see the columns. The columns that we have here is geolocation. So we could see outlets also by geolocation, right? We could also see, yeah, wait. Apart from that, we could also see outlets by outlet type, right? We can come and paste this just down here and say we want to see the count of outlets. I don't know why this one is playing with me here because it's not bringing that. It's tired of making the displays. Control copy. Oh, I was copying half of it. Yeah, so you're gonna copy the grand total. I think that was the reason. Yeah. So, but again, we want to see not team but outlet type, which is this one. So we want to see the number of outlets by outlet type. Once we are here, we don't want to see this 0.00. So we may reduce the decimals. Yeah, because an outlet is an outlet. So we don't want to see including this one. Sorry, this one yet. Yeah, so we have 40. Somebody's hand was up. I don't know whether it was a hand or a question. I had some quantity of order per outlet. Okay, Lucy is mentioning something. Yeah, so we have these rows by we have row labels, count of outlet by grocery, institution, kiosk, Petromat. So we have many supermarkets. So we are serving so many supermarkets, right? If you check there and go to more sort options and say descending, count of outlet, you could see that we have 44,549 our supermarkets. So this could also ignite an interest to understand that what is sales performance by outlet type. So we come and paste this here and say we want to see, instead of count of outlet there, I want us to see the subtotal. Wait, what did I remove? Count of outlet. We want outlet here. Not outlet, but outlet type. So you removed outlet type. Okay. Outlet type. Okay. Yeah. So seemingly we haven't sold to any institution, sadly. No sort options. Descending. So you can see that supermarkets we've sold 31 million. And to Petromats followed by Petromats, right? Which is 2 million. Followed by grocery, which is 569, followed by kiosk, which is 65,608. Institution is lacking, so we don't have any sales for institution. Yeah. Any question? Do you have any question? Are we all together? Are we together? Steve, are we together? Nathan Kiprop, what have you missed? How are you making the count outlets? Okay. Yeah. Let me just repeat. Sample sheet. Let me create a pivot table in existing worksheet. Location is pivot tables, and then I just put it there, enter. Okay, so I want to count outlets by, we have outlets by region. Oh yeah, we have outlets by region. So let's say outlets by geolocation. So I want to have here rows, geolocation, and then I want to have outlets. But if I click here, outlets, where is outlet? If I click outlet, it will obviously come to outlet. Yeah, we may be interested in this, but so that we know specifically that Utawala iko na Debi Minimart, Hope Minimart, Neo Mart, Nix Minimart, right? But right now we just want to see what is the count of outlets by the geolocation. So if we click outlet and it comes here, we might not be interested for it to be here. There's this drag feature. We could drag this outlet to where we want. If you want to drag it under columns, of course that will be a very long nini, but we want to drag it under values. So when it's under values, automatically unaona hapa count of outlet. Are you there, Mariwa? Mariwa, okay. Yeah, Mariwa is there. So count of outlet. Yeah. And then we have, so there's this drop down which you can click. And then there's value field settings. Value field settings. So count, average, product, right? Yeah. Yeah. Count, average, max, mean, product. We have STD. So whatever you want, you could just come and click it. So we want count. Yeah, count. And then click on OK. So count is there. Right. Um, so we could also just do a sort and understand more sort options and descending and sort and understand like which so Voi was performing. So now you can understand why when you come to markets, Voi was performing very well. Let's see what Chwele. So Voi has 1362 outlets. Chwele has 728. Bamburi, you can see there, up to the least one, which is these are the ones. Kaptum, Kibos, Kasuku, Nyahururu ziko tu na moja moja. Chemelil and Magongo, Mau Summit, Maragwa, Ogembo. So kama hizo mali zimetajwa, you are there right now, big up yourself. Chuka, watu wa Satellite, Athi River, even Kianjai. Yeah. So that's it. With trying to just understand or maybe use pivot tables for you to do that kind of analysis. Before we go into now inserting graphs. Anybody who feels they are in a better position now? Yeah. So those are maybe some of the things that you could first do for you just to understand your data in depth, right? So now you may want to, okay, after I have all that information, now let me fit in my data or maybe fit in graphs or charts. So now you could call it summary. So what do you want to appear? So you ask yourself again, what do you want to show in this summary page? After that, then you could go into sales by region. Once you are here, another thing you could go into is sales by SKUs. Right? Another thing that you could do is sales by sales representative. Sales by sales representative. So what we are doing is you are building a report for your boss, right? Once you come, I hope this, yeah. Once you come here, once you are here, you may also want to see what else. So we've done sales by SKU, summary, sales by region, sales by sales representative. Then you could even have sales trend. What is a sales trend? So how are we trending in terms of months? In terms of months. So which month has the highest sales, right? So what else could you have? Sales by trend, sales by SKU, or you could call it SKU analysis. Yeah, you could also even have sales by outlet. Yeah, sales by outlet, you could name it here, outlet performance. Sales trend, sales outlet performance, sales trend, sales by sales representative, SKU analysis. Yeah. So we have our summary here. So what do you want somebody to see? like when they log into your report, what do you want them to see? You could build all these things with a one-page report, right? But sometimes it's not very interesting when you have everything in Nini. It makes it even bulky. The goal is always to ensure that your report is simple, right? So I can only see maybe three things here or four things here. Then when I want to do a deep dive, I can go to these other pages, sales by region. I could go to SKU sales. I could go to sales by sales representative, right? Yeah. So here is where we build maybe. We want the person to see performance by region. Let's say sales by region. So we want them to see maybe this information. Yeah. So we want this information to be seen. So we could place a what? Go to analyze, not analyze, but insert, and now maybe insert an ini. We could insert a bar graph. So once we are here, you could insert this bar graph, or you can insert this type, or you can insert this other type, or insert this type. So it's you to know which one you want, right? So which one do you want us to use? We could use, let's maybe try this clustered bar chart. So let's do this. So we have inserted it using, so I can copy it, and come and put, no, not even copy. I need to Control X and put it in my summary, Control V. Yeah. So this is it. You could enlarge it, but that will not work. There's this x-axis, this y-axis. So this is our y-axis, this is our x. Or we have inverted it. Okay, so this becomes x, this becomes y, right? Yeah, but think of it this way. So there are things that you may edit. We may not want to see this thing called total here, right? So you delete it. So you just highlight it and then press delete. There's a delete button on your laptop, or you can just Control X it, right? We may also not want to see this, right? So if you want to see it, probably let me see if we can remove this field. If you remove it, it's going to yeah. So if you remove it, it's going to it's supposed to be hidden or what? Yeah, so hide, yeah. Hide instead of remove. So if you click remove, it's going to nini. It's going to remove our tables, but you could just hide it. So right click and then hide. So if you click hide all field buttons on chart, then all of them are going to be hidden. But if you click this, it's only that one which you selected. So you may just want to say hide all fields on nini. And then maybe you rename this one and say sales by region, sales by region. So some things that you may want to change, probably we are not interested in seeing these grid lines, right? So you just select one of them. We only want to remove this one and say, and just delete. Another thing we might not be interested in is this one, so we delete it. And then we come to design and pick a design that mentions the values. So we want this design, but maintain it this way. Yeah, so you could click on this one first, then come back and click on this. And then we need to remove this one again, delete. Yeah. So again, we might change these blue colors to something else. So you can see here there is somewhere written color change. So you can change it into this so that it's easy, so the sales region is easily readable. The sales values, sorry. So even those sales values, we can change their colors or just make them bold by doing Control B. Or if you don't do Control B, you just, let me do Control Z. Once you've selected, if I click on it, all of them are going to be selected, and then I click this so that it becomes bold. Even this title of ours can be made bold, right? But these ones we can remove. Once we have inserted those values here, we can remove this like a axis. Just delete it. These ones also we can make them bold. Control B, right? If you don't want to see a background for your sales, this chart, if you don't want to see a background, we could just come here. You're seeing where my cursor is, where it's A. No, not font color, but this one, a fill color. So under fill color, you could come and say no fill. So once you click no fill, you can see even there's the grid lines. But we might not be interested also our page to have these grid lines. So we come to view and say, check out this grid line. So once we check it out, now Nini yetu does not have that Nini, those grid lines. So we can resize this data so that it becomes this way. So when somebody logs in, what are they seeing? Sales by region. Anyway, before I go to another thing, are we together? If you're together, thumbs up. If not, thumbs down. Uh-huh. Steve, are we together? Okay, Steve and the ladies, Mbodza, Lucy, Valentine. No, Valentine is okay. How about Mariwa? Valentina Mariwa. Are we together or you have a question? Ah, you're good. Rose? Nathan is saying he did not get it. Nathan, let us know what you did not get. Yes? Kindly unmute before we go to the next thing. Creating the chart. So creating the chart, I went to my pivot table. I went to my pivot table and highlighted this. So you see, this is what we wanted to use, all right? So I just highlight. So if you highlight mpaka kwa grand total, let me highlight up to grand total, you see the problem. So grand total, and then it's not really a huge problem, but you just see what is happening. So you could click here and come because you wanted this chart. So you see, yeah, of course. Okay. I thought grand total was also going to be part of our axis here, but I'm seeing it's not. But there's some if you don't use pivot table, if you highlight grand total will also appear. That is if you're not using the pivot table. But I can just copy it and see if it's going to work. Yeah, so Nathan, what I did was just to highlight my data and then go to insert, and then click on what I wanted, which is this. Once I have it, I don't want it to appear here, definitely. I want to just Control X, and come and Control V, paste it here. Yeah, I come and paste it here. Are we together, Nathan? Or editing bit? Yeah, Nathan now is okay. So that is what you do. So once you're there, there could also be, if you wanted to maybe now give your dashboard a heading. Yeah, you want to give it a heading. So you just come to insert and then text box. So once you highlight that text box, you could uh, draw this, and I want to get it up there, then get this down. And put maybe what? Let me call it my first dashboard. My first dashboard. Hooray! Yeah, so you're celebrating your first dashboard, right? Yeah, so you could edit this and give it maybe 18. 18 could be, yeah, you could give it 18, but then, yeah, my first dashboard. You could give your color. Wait. Yeah, so I mean, so you could, this could be a little bit, let's give it 16. So if it's not this, you could say executive summary. Executive, executive summary. So I'm just giving you executive summary. And then you could resize this back to here. And probably give it a background. No, change the colors of your so this one, give it maybe this color. I don't know. I don't know the color that you want there, but you could give it any, including giving it a background, right? So that it has that background. If you want your chart to also have a background, you could also do some backgrounds on it. And maybe this one. So these are the things that you do when it comes to. And again, you also don't want your background to be too loud. And something else, you should be consistent with your colors. If you decide to use 3 colors in your, no, use about 2 or 3. Similarly, you're always told when you're developing a logo should always be 2 colors. So if it kienda sana ni 3, that is the same thing. Sio ya kwamba hapa nipate color ya yellow, kwingine red, kwingine blue, kwingine dark. Yeah, so it makes it confusing. And also your colors hazifai kuwa very shouting. That's why I was trying to look at the ones that are on the back, the shades, right? So that your color is not really shouting. It can be distracting for somebody who's looking at your content. So executive summary can have a different color, but these are the ones you give it ISO. And in most cases, for me, when I'm developing my dashboards, I look at the logo of the company that I'm working for, right? So if the logo is black and yellow, you'll find that my slicers ziko na yellow color, hizi zingine ziko na ka black color. I mean, I'll just find a way of playing around with them so that I maintain consistency from their logo. So the logo gives me the color to work with. Yeah, that's it. So we have sales region here. Something else that you may want to insert is a slicer. So there's something we call a slicer or a timeline. So once we are here, we could go back to visit date no time and right click it and say add a slicer. So if we add a slicer, I want to just show you what a slicer does compared to something else. So if I click here first, what is this? 4th of January. Yeah, should be. So 4th of January. I want to click it. I can see there were no sales. There were no sales, but visits zilifanyika tu kwa Nyanza na North Region. If I click here, ni Nyanza and Western Region. Yeah, hapa ni North Rift Region. There was a sales of 13,556.72. Yeah. If I go to Nyanza, hakuko na sale. There was sales in North Region again, North Rift Region, sorry. Sales value of 46,511.40. And then there was also sales in Nyanza and Western, which is 2444.16. So that is slicer. So if I don't want a slicer, anyway, who has understood how to create a slicer or who has not understood? So if you don't want it selected, so I'm seeing quite a number of people are doing a thumbs down. So let me unselect. Haya, what has happened to our data? Zile vitu tuliweka zime disappear. Okay. So let me delete this and say, if you want to insert a slicer, right? I could just let me bring in a pivot table, or let me just do it here. So we had so you click anywhere, so you have pivot table selected. So if you go here into insert, you could click slicer, and then it asks you insert slicer. Which slicer do you want to insert? So maybe I want to insert slicer, yeah? But first ensure that one of the pivot tables is selected. One of them. If you click outside here and say insert, yeah, of course it has targeted our data. It will tell you that all connections files, whatever. So itakwambia like no connection found. Yeah, so that is if you click outside. So you first have to maybe have a connection. So maybe a pivot table here, or if you just had a table yenyewe without a pivot. So you come here and say insert and then slicer. So this functionality now allows you to create multiple slicers. So you could say we want to visit date no time. I also want a slicer of team. I might also want a slicer of outlet type. I might also want a slicer of what? Of display name, that is the sales representatives. I might also want a slicer of geolocation. Yeah, you may want a geolocation and then click OK. So once you click OK, you can see that there are so many slicers zimekuwa inserted hapa. Yeah. So the first one I want, maybe I want to pick this team and team and click on maybe X and nimefinya control X and I want to do here summary. Maybe put that slicer there. I want to say maybe control X. I want it under the summary. So slicers depends on what you want to what you want to nini. You may have them. So also in terms of arranging your slicer, you may want it arranged in one side of the dashboard. For me, I always put them up in Power BI, and then let me go back and pick another slicer, which is very important. This one, Control X, and put it. Maybe put it just somewhere there. Anyway, is there somebody else who still doesn't know how to create a slicer? I think I've covered the thumbs down. Thumbs up if you know how to create the slicer. Valentine says last Steve Andrew. Anybody who is lagging behind? Thumbs down. No. Okay. Yeah, so that is creating slicer from Apple Insert, right? You could also just create a slicer. Let me click on this on my data here. You could also create a slicer by just going to Upper. You just click here under, let me say SKU. You right click and then there is add slicer. You can see this one, add slicer. So you can say add slicer. So if you say add slicer, you can see now we have this one. So if I click cheese onion, there's this cheese onion. This in yetu imetokana design. I think we did it. We did mention it here. This is what you wanted. Why is it not showing us the values? Yeah, this is what you wanted, and actually this is it. Okay. Yeah, so I think you know the editing that we did previously. So and select. Yeah. So these are the, so you could also do those editing. I don't want to do them right now because we have done it. Yeah. So what is the essence of a slicer? A slicer is for you to see information of, to help you see easily the information of a specific category, right? So if I pick here cost, you can see if I pick cost, it is telling me the sales value. It is also telling me the display name, who is here. The sales representative name, Petronila Mukami. If I click Eastern, it is telling me that Janet Kailu Mutindi. If I click Mountain, I have Geoffrey Kimathi and Purity Nkatha Kathiari. Hapa pekee ndo unakubaliwa kuguza mlima. Somewhere else you are not allowed to. Hapa Nairobi region, you can find that we have Caroline Mwende, Deborah Waitherero, and also we have Doris Kariuki, and these are the people. Winfred Nyaguthi, Karimi. If you go to North, you could see also sales is being displayed here as we display also the sales representative. That is North Rift region. Right? So if you want to uncheck it, you go to this place, clear filter. So it gets you back to where you are. Are we together? Let's talk about this date filter before I come back to something else. If you go back to this one, instead of having it this way, we could have it as a timeline. So let's remove this date filter, but insert what we call a timeline. So if I click here and come to insert, I could come to insert, but I could also come to this visit date, no time, and say add as timeline. If you don't want to go that process, you could go insert and then there is timeline, right? So you could say timeline. Wait, do we have something, a problem with our data? Yeah, timeline. So you say visit date and visit date no time, and maybe say okay. So once you see it there, you could see we have I wanted to check something, but it's not there. Yeah, so you could see we have a timeline. Instead of listing dates Evo, you could see we have it in we have it in months. So 2024, we could say you can move around with this slider. So this thing we call it a slider. So if I want to see sales in January, so you can see Coast region sold this, North region sold 639, Nyanza sold 156. If I want to see sales in February, the same. But if I want to see January and let me see something. So if I want to see January and what? January and so between January to March. So you click on shift. There is a shift key on your Nini and come and click March. So that is the sales performance, right? You can also see here there is months, right? You can click it and say probably you don't want to see sales in months, you want to see sales in years, right? So if you click uh, 2023, you can see that in 2023 North Rift region performed well, followed by Coast, then Nyanza, Nairobi, Eastern, finally Mountain. If you click 2024, North Rift performed well, followed by Coast, Nyanza, Nairobi, South Rift, then Mountain region. So that is the slider. Instead of having it in years, so you could actually have a slider for years, and so you could have a slider for years and select it. So you could let me see if you can resize it. No. Okay, so this one. So we have this so we have this years, and then you could copy and paste, control copy, control V, so that we have maybe a slicer for, we have it now in months. So that if I select just 2024, we have information here 2023 grayed out, right? Yeah. So this is, I think there's a slider that should be down here. Yeah, this one. So if you want to move around, I want to see June of 2024. There's that sales. I want to see May, Evo, right? But now the trick about dashboard is now how you arrange your dashboard. So you need to properly arrange the dashboard so that it's not confusing, right? So if we have all that information, your slicers, we have them in one section that way. If we have this is a date, whatever, you could let me uncheck those things. We could have it. We have it maybe somewhere there. You could also have this one somewhere here. Yeah, so that you arrange your dashboards very well. Nani is saying you're always having management in team. Yeah, Nani, I filtered mine out. I deleted the management. So what you do to remove them is just you go to sample sheet here and click on this drop down. You will find select all, then select to management. Mine I had removed, so you select, so if this is management, you click on OK, then select it, right click, delete row. So if there are many, like in Eastern region, I say this one, wait, you come and highlight all of them. You could, if they are that ones, you just highlight them that way and then right click and then delete row. Then come back and do that. Are we together, Nathan? Okay. Yeah. So something else that I wanted to show you with the slicers, sometimes if I select coast region, you can see I'm seeing even information zingine hapa. Of course, they are grayed out. Akina Caroline Mwende are grayed out. They are not part of our. They are not part of our. They are not part of what we want, right? So if I click coast region, I may want to only see Petronila Mukami peke yake, right? That is what I may want to see. If I click Eastern region, I only want to see Janet Kailu Mutindi. If I want to see Mountain, I only want to see these two people, right? So that means, let me clear selection. Excel. Ah, yeah, it has restarted. Okay. It's going to show. Yeah. Are we together? Oh, okay. So if I click on cost, I don't know what's happening, but I wanted to show you something before you drop out and leave you people to now rearrange your dashboard. Okay. So let me clear this. Yeah. So if I click cost, I don't want to see these other ones which are grayed out. So what you do is you right click this one and go to slicer settings. So you right click the one that you don't want to see other information coming part of it, this one. So display name, right click and come to slicer settings. Once you are here at slicer settings, there is this option, hide items with no data. So I can click here, hide items with no data, and then click on OK. So if I come back to coast region, you can see I'm only seeing Petronila Mukami Njogu. If I come to mountain region, I'm only seeing these two people. If I come to coast, I'm only seeing this. And again, you don't have to have like a long slicer yako, si lazima ikuwe kubwa hivyo. You could just resize it to fit this, right? So ikuwe tu fupi, so that if somebody wants to see other information, they can scroll, right? So that your slicer doesn't become awkwardly too big so that it's even distracting people. Like this one that contains numerous information. You could just put it, you could have the apple, so that if somebody wants to scroll, if they want to see more information, they could scroll. So if I select, so I selected Nairobi region, I'm seeing Caroline Mwende, Deborah Waiterero, and these other people. So that is, I'm only seeing them. If I click North Rift, I'm only seeing Wanjiro. If I click Nyanza, I'm seeing Ali Mwanza, Diana Kasudi, Waivona Kinyi, but these ones are also changing. Take note of that. So that is a timeline and also a slicer. So let's uncheck so that we have this information. So under this executive summary, probably we also wanted them to see, you could reduce it as small as you want, but let's keep it this way. Probably we want to add, what? So under this executive summary, what we want them to see first, we also want them to see probably sales by product category, right? So we can also insert nini hapa. We could also insert something else here. Let's say we insert a pie chart. We can insert that pie chart. Once we insert that pie chart, we could go to design and go to this. So let's copy or Control X and bring it to our executive summary and Control V. Let me remove this thing that is distracting. So where do you want to fit it? Let me hide this one. So with that, we are able to I can drag all of them to fit that place. And then I can drag this one and resize it so that it sits here. So once I'm there, I can come back and home, format paint, can I pick the format really? No. Okay, that one won't work. But yeah, we can also do the same editing that we did here. Remove these things that we do not want to see. Hide all field buttons. Hide all field buttons. Even this one we may remove so that we come back to and see sales by product subcategory. Sales by subcategory, and come back into design and pick what I like. I always like using this one. So once we are there, we can see that our sales is predominantly crisps, right? It's predominantly crisps, 54%. Popcorns is following with 13%. Peanuts, 11%. Corn chips with this. And then we have this star alphabet. And what else? We have cheddar. You could drag it so that it doesn't, I believe you could drag it this way. Yeah, you can drag it so that it doesn't. So cheddar is 1%, Garthia is another 1%, then star alphabet is here with 4%, right? What else would you want to display for your boss to see? Just the executive summary, right? You could drag this header so that it doesn't, and probably drag this one out. Control Z. Yeah, so those are editings that you can now do. So once you do this, you could also add maybe another graph here and also add another graph here so that zikuwe 4. Yeah, they could be 4 peke yake. Easy slices ni mingi, you could remove some of them. For example, kama hii display name, sales representative, you can remove it so that you only have even team. What else? Even this SKU, because you also have another analysis here which you called SKU analysis, where you can break down SKU by geolocation, by region, SKU sales by region, SKU. Yeah, I mean, so there's more that you could do in this place. So I'm just giving you a top line discussion on how you could build this first dashboard. And then you could have something else here. You could also have another thing here. Why I was telling you this, it's because once you are able to build a dashboard, it could now be part of your portfolio. So it's very necessary that you have a portfolio. If somebody asks you that, okay, can you do for me maybe this project or what? Yeah. And then you say yes, and then he asks you, okay, let me see some of the projects that you've done before. And you present to them, okay, there's this analysis that I did, or maybe this report that I created, you can have a look at it, right? And somebody comes and finds you've arranged your dashboard very well, umefanya, because again, analysis is always about your thought process. Somebody wants to see how you are thinking. So if somebody sees this kind of breakdowns zenye maybe nimewapea and they are seeing somebody who could do something substantial for them, because this ones you need to remove. These slicers, I created them so that when you get to maybe sales by region, you could need this slicer. Yeah, even this outlet by type, Control X, we may just put it hapa kwa nini as part of our slicers here, and then reduce it. So these ones you can arrange them later, right? So this one could form part of your slicers here. So slicers pia, you need to arrange them in a way that zinatoshana the bases. Ukiona hii base ya hapa itoshane na hii base ya huku juu. Hii ingine, we don't want to see this space, right? So you want to drag it up, if ikae on the same level with that one, drag this, ikae mpaka hapo, right? You want this one also to ikuje na juu, you drag this ifike hapo chini, right? You want also this date to be on the same line na hiyo nini ingine, yeah, so that you have a formal arrangement. So nini yako kama if your dashboard is ending at this point, ikuwe that this space is covered. If it's not covered, there is a background. You could even have a background image that you've created. Is there any question? Is there any question for me? Yes, Rickens.
You are talking about the aesthetics when it comes to the presentation.
Yeah.
And I'm looking at maybe the pie chart that we have, but all you can use like one, like 2-3 colors.
Oh yeah.
Will that be viable for maybe the pie chart that we have in this presentation?
No, for a pie chart, it is not going to be 3 nini peke yake, unless you want to confuse the reader. Pie charts, it won't work. But what I was saying in terms of colors, in terms of that color is background and your title. So if you look at this background of your chart, and also similar to background of this, it will also be background of your page and also background of your titles, because this title could have a background, right? So if you have sales by region, if I have a background color here as this, let me see some consistencies. If background colors of your titles is this color, then this one also should be the same, right? If I have South Rift region, Easy Coast region, whatever, having a font size of 9, let me see the others also having font size of 9. If I have it bold, right, let me see the others also bold. See at hii nikuje nipate it's bold, the other one is not bold, right? And the other one is having a font size of 40. Yeah, so it's a little bit confusing. So control Z. You get what I mean, Mr. Rickens?
Oh yes, so that is sort of like data inequality assurance or something. And it is sort of like specific quality, yeah, what we have, what we are doing, like our presentation.
Yeah. Your presentation needs to have some class, right? So
Okay.
there's consistency. So consistency is, you look at it in terms of the background colors, you look at it in terms of font size, you look at it in terms of font color, you look at it in terms of the background of your image, by the way. So your image could also be having a certain background. So for me, in most cases, I always decide that I don't want to see a background color for my image. But some people will also say they want a background, color. So if your background colors, and I also mentioned that your background colors is equal very deafening, blinding, sorry. So if you have this blue, it makes it it's very loud. I mean, so
Okay.
in my case, I always prefer colors that aren't shouting. So the shades of these different types of colors. So you could look at them up at you. So if
Okay.
so if that is the background color, let me also see it in this place. Right?
Okay.
Yeah. So let me also see this background color. I hope they're the same
And,
ones.
and I needed to ask something just on top of that.
Yes.
Like, can we do like an imported image for now? So you see, you have removed the grid lines.
Yeah.
Can we have like an imported image that now will maybe like fill in the gaps?
Yeah.
Hapo penye umeweka your cursor kwa hiyo
Yeah.
cell umeweka, can we like import an image itakuwa na fill there now the low background so that we have like some more kitu ka hiyo?
Yes. Yeah, you can. You can have a background image, or you can have a color for maybe a select place. Yeah, it's possible for you to have a background image. But there's first thing that you could do. You could maybe even select a place and insert. There is this thing called insert shapes. Where are the shapes? I'm trying to look at them and I'm not finding them. Yeah, here. So let's maybe try and insert a rectangle shape, and let me draw it here. So once I draw this, I could expand it to cover the place that I want to insert my information, so that you also define where your dashboard is starting and ending. So if my dashboard is supposed to occupy up to this place, let me put it, maybe let me say up to there. So that is my nini. So go back to format and say shape fill. You could have a different, which one do you want? Maybe this one or this one, or even this. You may want that one. And then right click and say send backward. Right, where are we? Okay, there's what we had there, and let me say send backward. Why is it not revealing all the it's okay. Yeah, it's bringing them one by one, but I didn't want that. Let me just try and do that for right now and say send backward. So what we are sending backward is this the shape that this shape that we have. And that is a tough one for me to say. This shape that we have here is what we are sending backward, so that all the other send backward. Yeah, so I think it's done. So now you can see there's a background, right, Nani? Reckons.
Yeah, iko fiti.
Sorry?
Iko fiti, it's okay.
Yeah. So this is what you could also try to extend it and minimize the way you want, so that you have a background. Now, yeah, this looks better. Thanks for bringing that up. Almost forgot it. So if you're bringing in something else, you come and put it here, and just know that you have a boundary in Africa mpaka hapa. So what I was mentioning is, by the way, these spaces sometimes also aren't really nice. So you could just drag mpaka hapo. But when dragging, always ensure that the size of this one should also be the same as the size of this. Isikuwe ya kwamba hii, I wish I could show you this nini, but that will be a breach of I have some reports, you could see them there, but I don't want to reveal what is in there. So you could see some of so this is a Power BI dashboard. Yeah, I don't want to show you the specific ones, but kuna information there that I've built. The sizes are always equal. Control Z. Yeah, the sizes are always equal. And I always ensure that I don't have those white spaces. So if I don't want a background for my nini, I just come here and go to home and come here and say no fill, so that even ndo nini yangu inabaki. Go to this one, go to home and say no fill. It always makes it interesting. Yeah, you could look at it that way. So which one do you prefer, other people? Do you prefer having a background for this one, or you prefer it without background? Joel, which one do you prefer? Mr. Joel?
Maybe I could just ask something.
Yes, ask something, Mr. Joel.
I'm not Mr. Joel, this is Rickens. Sorry.
Oh, sorry, Rickens. Okay.
So, like, the way we have done this, so if someone wants to to import this to a PowerPoint nini presentation, so you can just like copy paste the entire worksheet, and you just do that for your nini. Kama unataka kuweka kwa PowerPoint.
You could, let me see if you can save as. You can save as, and let me think of, you could browse and say, analyze this data, and save as, you could save it as PDF. Hakuna PowerPoint hapa? Excel, MacBook, Whitebook, so we don't have a PowerPoint, unless I'm not seeing it. Yeah, you could copy and paste, but I thought like there could be a format here you could save as a PowerPoint, or you can save it as PDF, spreadsheet. No, there's none here, Nani, Rickens.
Because I was trying to see,
it could be easier.
Yeah, Power BI, there's a way you can link to your PowerPoint.
Yeah, with Power BI, it's very direct. That one is, I always use that when importing. But this one you could copy and paste, but that will also take time. But I think, yeah, that could be the other way, unless I try to see and find whether you can share it. No. Yeah, unless there's another question. Yeah, something else that you are seeing here. So ensure that these videos are at least approximately the same. And this space here, we could also, you could also drag this and put it here, so that we have this one covered by this. Yeah, so we may have another information to iweke hapa. So you could go back to this pivot table and look at what you want, and maybe you want top line watu waone sales by institution, and insert what this time round. Yeah, there's something called a donut chart, which is more or less close to pie chart, you could think of it as also something that you may use. Under next to the pie chart, there's what you call a donut chart. After that, you could look at sales trend in. You could also look at sales trend that we. Before that, I don't know. Let's try to look at this or this one or this. Yeah, so this could be your donut chart. Needs to be in this format. Okay. Yeah, this could be your donut chart, though it's going to not show much because the information is kidogo, but it depends again on your data, right? So this one you could control copy, come and paste it here, control V, drag it down. Once you are here, we could auto size it, you fit up, and then now this one fits perfectly well with what you have designed. Yeah, so remains this. Yeah, so once you are here, you could also do the other things that we did. Right click and hide all fill buttons. You could remove this, delete, and then we could resize this one by if you click on Control Z, not Control Z, but you click on here your Control and Shift so that you drag it very well, and this way. Then you could balance it in the middle. Yeah, so this makes some sense. So we'll go back and just say that I don't want the background color, no fill. So this is my nini. Give it a name here. Oh, this was sales by. Yeah, but now okay. There's something I removed here. Yeah, nini. We may leave it because tunaweza hitaji kuona the different outlet types. Yeah, so we could leave it there so that we don't waste time. We may also look at something else uweke hapa. All right, here we don't have an outline here. Click out on the outline, you could go to is it under design or format and come to shape outline and choose the outline that you want. Maybe that outline that you initially had here. So you can see an outline is here. And then add something else here. Then summary will be done. So boss akikuja anataka kuona nini, sales by region tuna perform hivi, sales by category tuna perform hivi, sales by outlet type tuko hivi, and then you could have here outlet, number of outlets by maybe geographical location, right? You have it here. So kuna hizo vitu few things that bosi anaona, right? Once that is done, now you go. So page one is always just like a top level summary. Then you start drilling down. Go sales by region, analyze that sales by region. Go into SKU analysis. How did we perform in terms? How are we performing in terms of various SKUs? Come out of that, go to sales by sales representative. How are our sales representative doing? Because you may be having meetings with them and telling them, hey, this man, and actually even sales by sales representative, you also have a graph for sales trend, so that you're able to tell a sales representative that last month we performed heavy, this month we are expecting you to perform this way. So you can compare how a sales rep is performing by different months, right? Yeah. Any question? It's 8:34. Somebody having a question?
I guess I have my last question. Sorry for a lot of questions.
Yes.
I was trying to nikiangalia the sales by region. Kuna kwanga na this nini graphic design. Kuna graph yenye you can do the heat map ya different kama ni coastal. So if also that we are doing sales by region for this particular data set. And now you still not, I don't know, but if at all ziko in Excel, but ukijaribu kufanya, you won't actually get like, tukitaka kufanya a geographic map, tuseme the maps for this region ilikuwa this slightly higher, for this region ilikuwa low. Is there something in Excel that can also help us to do that now when it comes to according to the geographic location of Kenya?
A map.
Yeah, a map, exactly.
Yeah, kuna a map. I don't know whether it's here, but let me check. And kuna a map somewhere here. Let me see if we have it. And
kuna map hapa juu.
This one.
Yeah,
no, but 3D map, for you to create it, it's going to take you some effort. Kuna na ingine inakaa kama map too. I'm looking at it from Power BI.
There's a heat map hapo juu. Mbele hiyo bulb, chini hiyo bulb, there's a heat map.
Which one?
Chini ya bulb kuna heat map hapo juu. Hapo tu juu, the second one ni ya juu. Second one. Ya juu. Second one sasa ya kanda yake.
What were you saying? This one?
Oh, yeah.
Okay. I thought like you were saying geographical map. This one is a tree map.
That's a tree map, exactly. Nilikuwa nasema geographical map, sorry for that.
Kuna ile map yenye inakuonyesha where you need to use the longitudes and latitudes.
I've not come across that. That's new in Tanzania.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, so there's that one. If you find it, the better. Unless there's any other question, Joel. Joel, I had mentioned you. You said you prefer the one without background. Yeah, I always prefer these ones without background. Honestly, yeah, looks better. Hudson, you good? We are stopping.
Yes, I'm good. Although I joined a little bit late, but I'll be waiting for the recording because there's some like 30 minutes I missed za kwanza.
Okay.